Verizon. You know the name. It's a giant in American telecom. But let's be honest, for the last few years, this giant has been on its back foot, kind of losing ground to some hungrier rivals. Well, that might be about to change. There's a new CEO at the helm, and Verizon has a brand new, pretty bold plan to fight back. So let's get into it and break down the strategy behind what could be a massive corporate turnaround.
To put it bluntly, Verizon was really in a tough spot. The company was bleeding customers, its old strategies just weren't cutting it anymore, and you could tell Wall Street was losing its patience. It was pretty clear they needed more than just a little tweak here and there. No, they needed a radical transformation, and it had to start right at the very top.
And that transformation, it really started with the new CEO, Dan Schulman. Right from the jump, he made it crystal clear. The old way of doing business, that was over. This quote really says it all, doesn't it? It just captures this new, aggressive mindset he's trying to inject into the company's culture. The message is simple. Verizon is done playing defense.
So, okay, before you can fix a problem, you really have to understand it, right? What exactly did the new leadership look at and say, yep, that's broken? What were the core issues that were holding Verizon back for so long?
Wow. Schulman's language here is so powerful. He paints this really vivid picture of a company just being preyed upon. For years, as rivals like T-Mobile got more and more aggressive, Verizon had become this, quote, hunting ground, where competitors could just come in and poach their subscribers. You have to understand, this wasn't just a business problem, it was an identity crisis.
And you can see the strategic shift pretty clearly when you put them side by side. The old Verizon relied on what Schulman calls empty price increases. Jacking up your rates without actually giving you more value for it, which, surprise, just drove customers away. They were okay with losing a bit of market share. But the new Verizon, it's flipping the script completely. It's all about value, fighting for every single customer, and becoming a much leaner, more agile company. And this number really drives the point home. Over the last 3 years, because so many customers were leaving, a lot of it linked directly to those price hikes. Verizon lost out on an estimated 2.25 million net customer additions. That is a massive, massive hole to have to dig yourself out of. And it shows you exactly why that old strategy was it was completely unsustainable.
Okay, so that was the problem. Now let's get into the solution, the new playbook. The leadership team has laid out a really clear 3-part strategy to get the company back on track.
The plan itself is pretty straightforward and aggressive. First, cut the fat, become way more efficient. Second, strategically expand the company's footprint. And third, use technology to fundamentally change how they operate and how they serve customers. Let's break each of those down.
All right, step 1, get lean. And it starts with this huge number. Verizon is targeting $5 billion in operational savings this year alone. Now, this isn't just about trimming around the edges. We're talking about things like headcount reductions and renegotiating big contracts. It's not just about saving money either. It's about building up a war chest to fund their growth and, really fight back.
Next up, get bigger. This is where that recent acquisition of Frontier Communications comes in. And honestly, it's a total game changer. It instantly expands Verizon's fiber network to over 30 million homes and businesses. This is so crucial because it lets them bundle their premium wireless service with high-speed internet, which makes their whole offer a lot stickier and much, much harder for customers to leave.
And finally, part 3, get smarter. And look, this isn't just about using buzzwords. Verizon seems really serious about using artificial intelligence at a massive scale across their entire business. So what does that mean? It means using AI to predict and fix network issues before you even notice something's wrong, or creating super personalized offers that are actually relevant to you, not just some generic marketing blast.
So a plan is just a plan, until you start seeing some results, right? So let's look at the first real data we got from the fourth quarter of 2025. The big question is this new playbook actually working?
While the early signs are definitely promising, in that fourth quarter, Verizon beat Wall Street's expectations on both key metrics. They beat on earnings per share, which is a key way to measure a company's profitability, and they beat on total revenue. This was really the first major signal to investors that, hey, maybe this turnaround has some real teeth.
And you can see the operational momentum too. The company added 616,000 postpaid phone customers. Now, these are the most valuable kind of subscriber, the ones with those recurring monthly bills. That is a huge jump from the year before, and it's the company's best performance on this metric in a long time. It really shows that their new fight for volume strategy is starting to pay off.
But it is not all smooth sailing. Not at all. The company is facing some major headwinds.
There was a recent, pretty high-profile network outage that damaged its hard-earned reputation for reliability. And while the number of customers leaving is improving, it's still higher than they'd like it to be. Plus, fighting for every customer means you have to run costly promotions, and that can really eat into your profits. This turnaround is very much a work in progress.
So where do they go from here? The first quarter was a good start for sure, but consistency is everything. Let's take a look at what Verizon is promising for the full year of 2026.
And yeah, the guidance is aggressive. They're forecasting up to 1 million new postpaid phone customers. They're also projecting strong profit growth and a massive free cash flow. That's the cash left over after all the bills are paid of over $21.5 billion. I mean, these are the targets of a company that is on the attack.
And if you needed any more proof of their confidence, well, here it is. The board just authorized a new $25 billion share repurchase program. This is a really powerful signal to the market that management believes its own stock is undervalued and that their financial plan isn't just achievable, it's robust.
So this all brings us to the ultimate question, right? The strategy is in place, the first results look good, and the promises are bold. But turning around a company the size of Verizon is a monumental task. The real challenge is going to be executing this plan, quarter after quarter, rebuilding a brand known for excellence, and proving that this iconic American company can, once again, truly play to win.